namely that antidepressants often do not do what they promise and are in fact causing harm to many.
Dr. Steve Hotze is suing over Obamacare's employer mandate.
It's time for a wellness revolution. Brought to you by Hotze Health and Wellness Center. Honest discussion on maintaining health and wellness naturally to enjoy a better quality of life.
He's the doctor fighting to let you keep your doctor.
Now, Dr. Stephen Hotze.
Welcome to Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. I'm Stacey Banfield here with Dr. Stephen Hotze, founder of the Hotze Health and Wellness Center. And as always, if you want to download our podcasts, it is so easy. All you have to do is go to hotzepodcast.com. That's HOTZE podcast.com. Well, we have got a great topic for you today, and I am so happy to learn about Bulletproof coffee and the benefits. I am an avid coffee drinker. When I heard about this, I wondered, is it healthy? Is it for me? And I am so glad to hear it is doctor approved. So Dr. Hotze, why don't you explain to everybody the benefits of Bulletproof coffee?
First, let me explain to you what Bulletproof coffee is. You get a cup of coffee, preferably, if you can, get organically grown coffee. That's important because, you know, where coffee's grown throughout the world is in the tropics, and there are a lot of bugs and funguses, so they get all kinds of pesticides and fungicides and chemicals and fertilizers that are put on the plants. So there is some coffee that is grown organically without any chemical treatment at all. That would be best because in regular coffee, you're going to get some of those chemicals in the coffee. Anyway, get yourself a cup of coffee and get yourself butter. Obviously, if you can get, you know, range-fed cow butter, that's better. That's better butter. But anyway, get yourself real butter rather than margarine, and you take a tablespoon, which is about that much, tablespoon of butter, and you can cut it up so it melts easier. So I cut it in quarters like that. Then I put it in the coffee. Now, why would you put butter in coffee? My goodness. Well, butter is good, healthy, natural fats and oils that come from milk. It has no lactose in it because it's the cream, and it comes from cream. Butter is just cream that's been beaten extra, so it's become stiff, and that's what butter is. It's cream, and that's all fat. So there's no sugar in that, no lactose. In an alternative, and I do this, I'll use whole cream rather than butter, and whole cream tends to dissolve better. Butter is pure fat, and for some reason the whole cream does dissolve better, so I use that in it as an alternative. And then I'll get a tablespoon of coconut oil. Look at that, coconut oil.
Look at that.
Put coconut oil in your coffee. There you go. And coconut oil has some very important mid-chain triglycerides. It's got lauric acid, it's got capric acid and caprylic acid, which are important mid-chain fatty acids that are very important for brain function. Mm-hmm. They're fuel for the brain. Remember, the body can burn two different types of fuel. It can burn sugar, which most Americans do because we eat a high sugar, simple carbohydrate diet. That means we eat a lot of pizza, pasta, cookies, cakes, cereals, which are simply starches, sugar molecules that are hooked together. So as soon as you put them in your mouth, you begin to digest them, and they turn into sugar. So we get high levels of sugar in the blood, and then insulin's released from the pancreas, and then tries to drive the insulin into the cells where the mitochondria, the power plants, use the sugar to produce energy in combination with oxygen, and it ends up being the fuel of choice if you're on a simple carbohydrate diet, which, you know, the vast majority of Americans are. Mm-hmm. What happens is you get high sugar levels, it burns up, and then it goes down, and then you immediately become hungry again, so you're on this sugar roller coaster all the time where you need to be eating something that converts into sugar all the time, and so you find yourself with these cravings and hungers all the time. The other alternative way to burn our source of fuel for the power plants in your cells to burn is fat. Rather than burning sugar, you burn fat, and fat burns very slow. And when fat is burned, it is converted in the body to a substance called ketones. And so that's how fat is broken down into ketones, and it's the ketones that then enter the cell and enter the mitochondria, the power plants in the cell, and are used to produce energy. Think of it like this. If you have a fireplace in your house, you got two things you can burn in it. You can either take, newspaper and just throw newspaper into the fire, and it burns up very quickly. And you got to keep throwing newspaper on all the time. It burns up very quickly. And that's like sugar, burns up very quickly. Or you can put a log or logs on the fire, and they'll burn very slow. That's like fat. The fat slow burns. And fat satisfies the satiation center in our brain, and it makes us feel satisfied as opposed to being hungry all the time. So when you eat fat and you have Bulletproof coffee, and you can add to the Bulletproof coffee some cinnamon if you want to. I always add a little stevia. I don't have it here with us, but I'll put some stevia drops in there. Then I take it and just
it tastes great.
Drink it down, and it's a good cup of coffee. And if you drink that in the morning, you won't be hungry at lunch. You just won't be hungry during the day. And what I do primarily, I eat one meal a day. I have a meal for dinner, and in the morning I'll have my Bulletproof coffee. I'll also have a tablespoon of cod liver oil every morning to make sure I get good oil in my body. I also take a tablespoon of beta-hydroxybutyrate, which is a ketone, and I'll do a tablespoon of that in water, and then I take immediately 4,000 milligrams of vitamin C crystalline water every morning. That's how I start my day. And then I'll have my vitamins during the morning and then again in the evening. But that's a good way to start the day, and I highly recommend Bulletproof coffee. But first and foremost, get yourself on a ketogenic eating program. And a keto eating program tells you that fat is good for you. It's not bad for you. What's bad for you is a high sugar diet, which is made up of the simple carbohydrates, what we've discussed, pizza, pasta, breads, and all those things. They're converted to sugar. Then sugar causes the production of insulin, and insulin becomes, the cells become resistant to high level of insulin, and insulin drives the sugar into fat. That's how you get fat. It converts the sugar in your body to fat. So if you eat good oils and good fats, that'll be healthy for you. You'll end up making ketones, and your cells will burn the clean fuel of ketones rather than sugars. So you ought to have eggs, butter. You can have fish oil, olive oil, coconut oil, like we tried here. You can also have avocados, olives. You can have cheeses. Any good oil you can have and also nuts have good oils in them. So you can have that, and then eat healthy, organically grown green vegetables. That's important. Broccoli, spinach, asparagus, etc. Eat that, and then eat a small amount of meat. Meat, if you eat too much, I wouldn't recommend any more than 3 to 4 ounces a day max. If you eat more than that, the meat, the protein, gets converted to sugar. So people that eat paleo, eat a high protein diet, end up, and they can't lose weight. Well, they're turning that proteins, get it converted in their liver to sugar, and they're burning sugar from that is derived from the protein. So you want to minimize your protein intake to about 3 to 4 ounces. Make sure you eat plenty of good greens, and about 60 to 70% of your calories should come from good, healthy oils and fats. If you do that, you'll find yourself not being hungry. You just won't have a hunger, and you can find yourself being able to eat intermittently every 18 hours or every 24 hours, and even sometimes you may go 48 hours, and you'll find out. My wife told me this morning, Jenny goes, she's in her second day of a fast, and she goes, I feel great today. I'm not hungry at all. But she routinely and regularly fasts at least 48 hours once a week, and then normally she's on a 24-hour fast. And she looks great, ideal body weight, got plenty of energy, and this has really helped her clean up her arteries. We followed that, and her arteries in her heart vessels had some calcium in them, and they've improved dramatically. So I want to highly recommend to you a good ketogenic eating program and Bulletproof coffee in the morning.
Absolutely, and Dr. Hotze too, because we've talked about intermittent fasting before, and I know that a common question people have is, well, gosh, if I'm having, the coconut oil and the butter and the coffee in the morning, does that interrupt the fast? And it really doesn't. It doesn't mess with the blood sugar or anything like that. And that will actually help you in your fast to wait until that first meal of the day. So this is a great solution for a lot of people. So if I would just love this topic. I'm such a coffee drinker at heart. So Dr. Hotze, cheers.
Cheers to you, dear.
Cheers to you. This coffee is amazing. And if you want to find out more information about getting healthy and well, doing a 180 and taking charge of your health, because everybody needs a health coach, then give us a call at 281-698-8698. That's 281-698-8698. You can also go to our website, take our symptom checker at hotzehwc.com. So glad you could join us today here at Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution.
Information provided on this radio program is neither intended nor implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice and is not intended to replace the services of a physician, nor does it constitute a doctor-patient relationship. You should not use information from this radio program to diagnose or treat a health problem or disease without consulting with a qualified healthcare provider. If you have or suspect you have an urgent medical problem, promptly contact a professional healthcare provider or call 911. Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution radio program advises you to always seek the advice of a physician or other qualified health provider prior to starting any new treatment or with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Any application of the recommendations from this radio program is at the listener's discretion.